All right, hey guys, here we are, hole 9. Now, one of the things that I'll want to do here is probably blast these shots down here as much as possible. I'm going to put on my cap bag. Thinking maybe side spin. Does that sound about good? Yeah, so I'm thinking something along the lines of maybe side spin. If you have a POC 6, a POC 7, you might want to even probably think about something else. If you were to aim for the same spot, you'd probably need backspin, to be honest. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm thinking somewhere around here for my aim. One full target. And what all this spin is going to do when I keep off that top spin, it's going to get it to cut harder to the right, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to get this to bounce more to the right and see, you can see. So let's say I put top spin on that. It's not going to shoot over here to the right. It's going to shoot into that sand. So it's going to shoot up in this way. So when I put that side spin on, it creates a, now ideally I might want to land that next time just a little bit more to the right on my initial bounce, because you can see I'm starting to get just a little bit too close here. But as I mentioned, if I try to add topspin, the biggest thing that's going to change is it's going to, so if I was to hit that same land spot with one topspin, it probably would have been right over here in the bunker. It's going to hook less, basically. So you have to keep that in mind, is it won't make it quite over to the same spot. Now this is kind of what I had in mind for maybe a POC 6s, berserker balls, maybe trying to land up here and then just curl it with no hook slice is kind of what I'm thinking. I'm surprised that my opponent here opted out of doing that. So I'm pretty sure that's the way that I'm definitely thinking. It looks like it looks like this is going to work out. So you really don't have to play it that way. So it might just be, because this is plenty far enough. My opponent hit this plenty far enough to get there in 2. So that might be the way that you want to go, just to make sure. But you can see here, having that extra range, I can probably get it up onto this fairway much more easy. So for me, this is still a bear of a hole, especially with only Cat 5s. So what you're going to see is I'm probably going to curl this as hard as possible, try to land over here. I really don't have that much of an option. Otherwise, I'm even thinking maybe hook slice in this. I'm really on the fence of just doing a hook slice here. So I know it's going to be, if I do a hook slice, a little bit of an under adjustment. I'm thinking maybe right here. Let's see if I can get this off. Now what this hook slice will do is it'll allow it to, but it looks like it just clipped that rough. So it wasn't quite enough rings. It was maybe 1.5 too light. But what it'll do is it'll get it up over here into the high end of the fairway. It'll actually bounce much more over here. If I don't do a hook slice and go for a precision shot, it's going to be somewhere over in here, to where it's maybe clipping that sand. When now where my opponent is, since he has a little bit different perspective than me, he could probably do the other shot that I was going to do with just a precision shot with max curl, because he has a better angle to pull it off. Now my ball was much more left than his, so I was a little bit hesitant to do that. But it looks like he just, both of his shots were pretty well executed. You can see that his first shot, off the tee, he landed very close to the rough, at the very top of the rough. And then this, both his hops were almost precision, like perfect. It just missed the first fairway and then just crept onto this second and then just missed this bunker. So both those shots, but definitely something to be a little bit worried about would be, making sure that you do it time and time again, because it is going to be definitely a really tricky hole. So you'll want to be as consistent as possible. I'm thinking we're going to take off some of this topspin. I'm really not liking what I'm seeing here. So I'm thinking almost 2 rings here, but more importantly would be perfect ball. I think I might have under adjusted that just a touch, but you know, we'll reload. You can see that we had a reasonable chance to be able to pull that off. And we could essentially, you know, with just a couple more practices, we'd be able to play that exactly how we want. And we'll just kind of tweak our spins, tweak our land zones a little bit. And if you want to go with those hooks, you know, and the biggest thing about me is I don't have Cat 6, I don't have Cat 7. So I really couldn't do what my opponent was able to do, you know, on either of those shots. He kind of had me on club, so I couldn't use his method. So with these weaker bags, you have to be thinking of more crafty ways to play it. And that's kind of what I was doing. But then when you'll see, you know, with my more advanced bag next time, I'm going to probably take a little bit more of that approach, or I'm even thinking maybe going berserker off the tee. So one or the other, we'll just kind of see and just figure out what we like. So good luck with your rounds. As I mentioned, you know, you might want to check out these second set of guides, which I'm going to run through with more advanced bag. That way you get kind of a general sense, you know, and you can just use kind of the one that is a little bit more geared towards you. But at the same time, you'll see that's why we take these different approaches to some of these shots, is because it's just a little bit more easier to execute kind of the way that I played this with like weaker bags. Especially with like a very good curling Apocalypse. You know, without an Apocalypse, we won't be able to curl and do those hook slices the same way. So keep all that in mind. Good luck, and I'll see you guys on the next one.